Ever feel like getting a good night's sleep in the city is pretty much an impossible dream? Well, we're going to dig into the science that says the problem isn't actually you. It's the very streets outside your window. And the wild part? It's all by design. You know, we blame everything, right? Stress, caffeine, staring at our phones too late, a million different things. But what if the real culprit is something we don't even think about? The evidence we're looking at today points to a cause that's literally paved into our cities. And that's the absolute key here. That constant noise that jars you awake, it isn't just some random annoyance of city life. No way. It's a direct, predictable outcome of specific choices made in how we plan our cities and our traffic. The problem is literally built into our environment. So, let's get into the science of it all. What does all this noise actually do to our sleeping brains? The numbers we're about to look at might just shock you. First up, a really crucial number. The World Health Organization says that for a healthy night's sleep, the noise around you shouldn't get above 45 decibels. To put that in perspective, that's like a quiet library or the gentle hum of a refrigerator. So remember that number, 45. So what happens when we go way past that quiet library level? Well, studies show that when nightly traffic noise climbs to 65 decibels, and that's more like a loud conversation happening right next to your bed, your risk of insomnia triples. That is a huge public health issue hiding in plain sight. And hey, this isn't just a theory. Take a look at this study from Belgrade. They compared people in quiet neighborhoods to those living on noisy streets. The difference is just stark. You can see it right here. The folks in high-noise areas had way more trouble falling asleep, they woke up more often, and they struggled to get back to sleep. So what's the actual mechanism here? It's something called sleep fragmentation. Every time there's a sudden noise, a truck rumbling by, a car accelerating hard, it can cause a micro-awakening. You might not even remember it in the morning, but your brain sure does. And these constant interruptions stop you from getting that deep, restorative sleep that you need, leaving you feeling tired and groggy. Over time, this kind of chronic disruption is linked to some really serious stuff, like high blood pressure and cardiovascular disease. So where is all this harmful noise even coming from? Okay, this is the crucial part. It's not just an accident. It's a direct consequence of how our roads are designed. Think about it. Traffic engineers are juggling a lot of priorities, but for a long time, noise just wasn't one of them. The result? The very noise that ruins our sleep is a direct byproduct of choices that were made about things like road width and traffic light timing. Now, this is really interesting. Check out how a simple decision creates this whole cascade of noise. You take a traffic light and you give it a short cycle. Okay, that forces frequent stops and starts. To keep up with the flow, drivers have to accelerate pretty hard from a standstill. And that rapid acceleration, that's what produces those huge high-decibel noise spikes that jolt us awake. So you can see there are two fundamentally different approaches to this. On the left, you've got designs that basically prioritize one thing: vehicle speed. Wide, straight roads, high limits, frequent signals. It's a perfect recipe for noise. But on the right, you've got what are called traffic calming designs. They use things like narrower lanes and gentle curves to naturally slow vehicles down. This leads to a smoother flow and a much quieter environment. Quiet isn't an accident. It's a design choice. And the impact here goes way beyond just feeling tired the next day. This chain reaction from a city blueprint all the way into our bedrooms has serious long-term consequences for our physical and mental health. Let's just trace that path again. It all starts with the road design itself. That design creates a specific pattern of noise. That noise then disrupts our sleep. And that chronic sleep disruption leads to actual, tangible health problems, from just feeling tired all day to messing with your hormones and increasing your risk for serious conditions. It's a direct line from pavement to pathology. And crucially, this burden is not shared equally. Research consistently shows that major roadways and the high noise zones around them are disproportionately located in lower-income neighborhoods. This means the health consequences of all this lost sleep often fall hardest on those with the fewest resources, which just makes existing health inequalities even worse. On top of that, our individual sensitivity really matters. The source material shows that older adults, for example, are much more easily woken up by the same level of noise compared to younger people. And if you're already dealing with high stress, you're also more vulnerable. It creates this vicious cycle where noise pollution hits the most susceptible people the hardest. Now, I know this all sounds pretty grim, but here's the good news.
Because this is an engineering problem, it has engineering solutions. We actually have the tools to design a quieter, healthier future.
And here are some of the most effective strategies out there. We can implement traffic calming, which we've already talked about. We can use physical barriers, and even just more plants and trees to absorb sound. Planners can use noise maps to make smarter decisions about where to build homes. And, of course, we can improve building codes to make sure new buildings have better soundproofing from the start. Let's just focus on traffic calming again for a moment, because it's such a powerful concept. It isn't about stopping cars. It's about changing driver behavior through smart design. By making roads feel less like highways, we encourage people to drive in a smoother, slower, and fundamentally quieter way. So this really leaves us with a fundamental question. For decades, the main goal of urban road design has been to move as many cars as possible, as quickly as possible. But now, with clear scientific evidence linking that very approach to poor sleep and negative health outcomes, we have to ask, what is the true purpose of our cities? Is it just about efficiency, or is it about creating environments where people can truly live, rest, and thrive?